What if I told you that someone might be watching you through a security camera, even when the system is supposed to be turned off? At 2:17 a.m., inside a remote surveillance facility deep in the Nevada desert, camera number 12 captured something impossible. A man was standing inside the security perimeter. The strange part was not his presence. It was the way he appeared. The system recorded no entry through the electronic gate, no thermal movement approaching the site, no shadow crossing the sand before the moment he appeared. It was as if he had entered the frame of the camera itself, bypassing time between one recording frame and the next. You may be trying to find a logical explanation right now. A system glitch, a compression error in the video data, maybe internal tampering, but let me ask you something. If you were sitting alone in a dark room watching this footage and someone suddenly appeared without walking toward the location, what would be your first feeling? Technical failure, or something else? The man inside the perimeter was completely dressed in dark clothing with no visible markings. The desert lighting was weak, making facial recognition impossible, but there was one detail that made the investigators uncomfortable. The man was looking directly at the camera, not toward the facility, not toward the lights, directly into the lens, as if he knew someone was watching the recording. When the video was rewound, there was no gradual approach, no footsteps, no moving shadow, just a sudden transition from empty desert space into physical presence. Engineers checked the servers and security logs multiple times. There was no evidence of external hacking, no malware inside the system, no manual deletion of recordings, but one technician discovered something unusual. Inside the frame where the man appeared, there was a microscopic difference in data compression pressure, not enough to confirm human manipulation, but strange enough to suggest something was inside the recording structure itself. The surveillance site belonged to a private energy project located more than 40 miles from the nearest highway. The desert there does not hide traces easily. If a single person walks across that ground, footprints can remain visible for days. But the next morning, the security team found no footprints around the perimeter fence. Nothing at all. That was when Daniel Morgan started feeling that this was not a normal technical incident. Daniel was the night shift operator, late 30s, 7 years working in the surveillance system, known among colleagues as someone who trusted logic more than rumors. When the man appeared on the screen, Daniel did not scream. He did not stand up suddenly. He only moved closer to the monitor and rewound the footage 5 minutes, then 10 minutes, then 30 minutes. The desert was completely empty before the moment of appearance. Later that night, at 1:59 a.m., camera number 7 recorded a faint light flash near the horizon. It lasted less than 1 second. Technicians thought it was reflection from a nearby solar panel, but Daniel noticed the timing. The flash occurred exactly 17 minutes before the man appeared. Some details are not important until they suddenly become terrifying. In the following night, surveillance was reinforced. Additional security personnel arrived. The system was monitored every 10 minutes. At 2:16 a.m., everyone was watching the screens, silently. 2:17, nothing. 2:18, nothing. 2:19. A tiny digital distortion appeared on camera 12. Just a fraction of a second of noise before clarity returned. No person appeared. Some workers felt relieved, thinking the previous incident was a temporary malfunction. But at 2:23 a.m., something else happened inside the facility. Camera number 3 outside the generator room recorded the door slowly opening. Let me ask you something very directly. Do you believe a door can open without someone standing behind it? The problem was that the generator room door could not be opened from the outside without an electronic access card, and Daniel was the only night shift worker carrying that card. The footage was analyzed repeatedly. The door moved slowly, like something invisible was pushing it from outside. Then it remained open for 8 seconds before closing on its own. No shadow, no reflection, no visible human presence. At this point, Daniel stopped thinking this was just a technical glitch. He started feeling that the facility itself might be under observation, or perhaps something inside the system was watching them from within. But tell me honestly, if you were in his place, would you stay in that facility until the end of the shift? The following morning, no official incident was recorded. But inside the surveillance station, everyone felt that the story was not over. Daniel requested temporary removal from the night shift, but the company did not approve it immediately. The facility was short on staff, and the incident was officially classified as a rare technical anomaly. Security investigators and cybersecurity specialists arrived at the site. Initial testing found no evidence of external hacking, no malicious software inside the servers, and no obvious manipulation of digital files. However, one engineer found something very small. Inside the video segment where the man appeared, the data pressure pattern was slightly different from the rest of the recordings. It was not enough to prove human tampering, but it was abnormal enough to force frame-by-frame analysis. When Daniel was asked about his feeling during the incident, he struggled to describe it. He said the man did not look like a typical intruder. He was not trying to hide, and he did not move away when the camera zoomed closer. It was as if he was waiting for the moment when the observer would realize that his presence was not accidental. Local authorities searched the desert around the site. No footprints were found near the security fence. The ground there is hard and dry, capable of preserving simple movement traces for several days under normal wind conditions. But there was nothing. No entry path. No exit path. No sign that a human being crossed that area. On the third night after the incident, Daniel again requested transfer from the night shift. The request was not answered quickly. The facility operated under strict surveillance schedules, and leaving the control room unattended was not possible. At 2:17 a.m. once again, everyone was watching the screens, waiting, but this time, the man did not appear inside the perimeter. Instead, camera 3 inside the generator room began recording a very low sound. It was not the sound of desert wind. Environmental sensors inside the facility showed no external airflow change. The sound lasted 17 seconds, then stopped suddenly. Spectral audio analysis later revealed a low-frequency vibration outside normal human hearing range. Some researchers said such frequencies sometimes appear in deep earthquakes or oceanic depths, but the connection was never confirmed. At 2:31 a.m. that same night, the external lighting system shut down for 23 seconds. Not a complete system failure. Only the exterior lighting circuit stopped working while internal cameras and servers continued functioning. When the lights returned, one technician noticed something on the glass wall outside the control room, a handprint. The print was not there before the blackout, and the height of the print was close to Daniel's chest level. Even though the control room was located on ground level with no pedestrian path nearby, security teams searched the perimeter again. No footprints in the sand, nothing. The next morning, Daniel resigned unofficially by telling a colleague that he felt the place was no longer safe. He refused to explain further. After he left, the internal investigation was temporarily closed. But 1 month later, a new report arrived. Camera 12 recorded a single frame, a man standing inside the perimeter, looking directly at the lens, then disappearing before the recording system officially started capturing footage. The surveillance system was not even turned on that night, yet the file existed inside the archive. No one could explain how it appeared, or who inserted it. That was the end of the official documents. The man was never identified. No one knew how he appeared, and no one knew how he vanished. But some former workers later said something strange. They said they sometimes felt that camera 12 was still running, even when the system was completely shut down. And now I want to ask you one last question. Was the man watching the facility, or was he waiting for someone inside it? If you are watching this story until the end, subscribe to the channel and turn on notifications to receive new mysterious stories, and share your opinion in the comments. Do you think this was only a technical failure, or something else we still cannot explain?